All right, everybody, welcome to today's Happy Monday Huddle for the Rhino 10X Run. I hope every single one of you are 10Xing your business. I hope you're getting great content out of these daily Zooms. If you're missing the live recordings, make sure you're going back to our Keto Movement YouTube page. All you have to do is go to YouTube and type in Keto Movement, and it'll come right up. So I want to hit some things that kick off the morning, some things that are happening online, things that are happening in the company, a couple announcements. So there is a new Pruvit YouTube video on our Keto 101 page. So make sure you go to Pruvit Keto 101 on YouTube. They just dropped the Keto Plus Nutrition video. It's phenomenal. That's a great video resource to send to people that are curious about the diet. And then for anybody who is rebooting, who here is hungry? I need some faces, guys. Get on the camera. Who here is rebooting? Who here is hitting a little bit of just fired up? So keep the hammer down the reboot. But if you bought your reboot kit in March, there is an add-on kit available to those people. You can purchase up to 3 of them. It ends tonight at 7 p.m., which is going to give you 20 Nat Raspberry Lemonade, 20 Keto Cream Pumpkin. It's going to give you 20 Broth French Onion, 30 Signal OS. It's going to give you 15 MCT 143 plus 40 free servings of Keto Max. That is $669 retail for $409. So if you were one of the people that buy your reboot kit, make sure you go on and get all those add-ons. That's a heck of a price. Another announcement you should have seen if you're checking your Pruvit Pulse every day. Your business is dead if it doesn't have a pulse. Make sure you're checking your pulse. The pulse is the lifeline of your business. So they just dropped our confirmed speakers for Keto Academy. I'm sure there will be more to come. But so far, Dr. Andy Campitelli, Dr. Jacob Wilson, Dr. Mary Newport, Dr. Ryan Lowry, Dr. Ken Ford are all committed to Keto Academy and more. If this is your first Keto Academy more, get prepared. It is phenomenal. And we are going to jump into the nitty gritty. This is going to be part 1 of Kendra McMurphy. Kendra McMurphy is phenomenal. I sat through her advanced playbook training at Epic in Phoenix, and it was phenomenal. So make sure you get a pen and paper ready. Ken Cools, you look like you're sleeping. Wake up, bro. Kendra, you should be unmuted.
Oh, I am. There we go. Look at that. All right, y'all. I'm going to need some massive energy from you today. I have like some weird head cold thing. So I kind of feel like I'm in like a bubble a little bit. So all of the energy from everybody is going to really I can feel it from here. So if everyone could just start today by giving a big smile. I think it's really important to recognize we're all in different places and different spaces in our lives and in our businesses. When we show up here together, it literally creates that momentum together. It creates that energy, it creates that movement. And whether you're feeling spot on today or you're feeling a little bit off or you're feeling up or you're feeling down, this is a space where we can all come together. And the more we put in here, whether you're speaking or you're listening, your presence matters. So I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Nick, for literally bringing the best energy. I'll be honest, I was down here before Nick started talking. And as soon as Nick starts talking, right, you guys all feel that. Nick gives 150% all the time, and you can just really feel that. So thank you, Nick, for that. I'm super fired up and pumped for the next 3 days. Basically kind of how it's going to go. I'm going to give you guys a run through today. What's going to happen today is you're going to, when you get off this call today, you're going to have a lot of little things that you can start implementing, right? So when we talk social media strategy, so from the playbook event, I taught this class, and it is advanced social media strategy. Now raise your hand if that makes you go a little nervous. Advanced social media strategy. Yeah, okay, me too, because I was nervous to teach it. I was like, y'all, when they were like, okay, you're going to, and I was like, but when we broke it all down, it's very simple. So I want you to first disconnect from the kind of advanced social media strategy. Really, all of these things are just kind of step 2 strategies to what Katie talked about last week. So what Katie talked about last week, kind of setting up your page and all that kind of stuff. Today, we're going to shift a little bit deeper into social. And before I do that, I want to ask you, drop a 1 in the comments if you were attracted to this conversation by someone on social media. Drop a 1. Drop a 2 if it was in person. I just want to see I want you guys to see this too. So we got 1, 2 so far, a couple 2s. There's a couple 2s. A lot of ones. You guys see that? Cool. So there's a massive, massive opportunity here. And for both, right? Like for both social and this. And so the commitment that I want to get from you guys today before we get started is that these things that you take, you kind of realize I talk a lot about like that tool belt. Every training I do, I always talk about like it's a tool belt. So you're going to get these things and you're kind of like, it's like you're grocery shopping for tools. Those things don't matter, don't relate at all. I told you guys I have a head cold, so just bear with me. But like you're grocery shopping. And from these trainings, you're going to be like, oh, you know what? I really do like that. Oh, you know what? I can put this with something else that I do and make it that. So you're going to get these strategies today, these different things that you can do on Facebook, that you can do on Instagram, you can start implementing daily. That's a big thing. Drop a yes in the comments if you'll commit to picking a couple of things and doing them daily. Because the biggest thing is going to be, if you try to do all of these at one time, pick a couple and master them, right? That's like going to be the first thing. So they're going to talk today. This is kind of how the flow of the next 3 days is going to be. Today, I'm going to give you a lot of content. Today, I'm going to give you all of the kind of nuts and bolts and what these different strategies are on the different platforms. And we're going to talk about how to monetize. Raise your hand if talking about money makes you a little uncomfortable. Cool. Guys, we're going to talk about how to monetize the social, because it's really great to attract. But there is a secret end to social media. Anybody can master the art of attraction. We're going to talk a bit about that, but then we're also going to talk about actually monetizing the back end of your social media, how to use DMs, how to use Messenger, how to engage and respond. That is going to be one of the biggest things. If you leave with one thing today, if you up your engage and respond, write that down. If you leave with that today, I guarantee no matter what you're doing on social media or how long you've been doing it or how masterful you are or are not, if you leave with this one thing, your business will start growing. So it's something that I've actually 10x'd over the last month, and it's wild. Whoa, okay, I'm getting like pop-ups on my screen here. Okay. So over the next 3 days, so today content, tomorrow I'm going to give you visuals and examples and tie into each of these tomorrow, okay? So if you're feeling like today, as I kind of go over these and breeze over these, if you're like, man, I really could use like an example and some reinforcement, hold tight. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, you're going to get an example and some reinforcement. And then day 3, we're really going to bring it home because we're going to talk to some people who are using these skills specifically, and they're going to share with you how they've used this said thing here to monetize their business, to grow their business. So it's going to be a 3-step process. And by Wednesday, at the end of the Rhino Run call on Wednesday, like you're going to feel pretty confident in these things. So yeah, so we're going to dive right into it because it is 12:23 and I am long-winded per the usual. All right. So when we first talk about social media and attraction, there's one thing I think that is probably the most important. I don't think it's the most important. I know it's the most important, right? So Brendan Bouchard did not say this. However, every time I give this training, I give Brendan Bouchard the credit because I don't actually know who did say it, and he is the association that I've made with it in my mind. So he did not say this. However, someone very credible did. Over the next 10 years, and I think Alexis actually trained on one of these calls about this, over the next 10 years, and raise your hand if you remember her saying this, the wealthiest people in the world will be the best storytellers. Do you guys remember that? That hit me. I don't remember who said it, right? I just remember how I felt when I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a craft, like this is an art. And whether we're going to talk about Facebook, writing caption, some people you'll hear it called writing copy. We're going to talk about Instagram, and we're going to talk about Instagram stories and Facebook stories, okay? Because these are all places, this all comes back to is places where we tell a story. So if we're the storyteller, and we're telling stories, there's a couple of different ways to do that. Now, here's the beautiful thing. There's probably infinite ways to tell a story. I'm going to share a couple of ways with you today. One is the way that I do it. One is the way another trainer does it, right? We're completely different. We both have massively successful businesses, but the way that we do things is very different. And I'll tell you, I tried hers on for size a couple of times. I don't hate it. It works. I like it. Like it's good, but I also like the way that I do it. So what I want you to take from this today is you're going to draft your own way of storytelling, of writing caption, but these are going to be a couple of ways that you can really kind of start to like jog your memory and think of ways like how to do this. You got the 2-1-2, right, from Katie. So you got like the ideas and what to do. So now you have ideas. Now you sit down with your idea and how do you actually write that idea out, right? Anybody interested in kind of learning that? Okay, so here's the first way. The first way, and this is, raise your hand if you're familiar with the color personalities, the 4 color personalities. Drop a 1 in the comments if you are not familiar with the 4 color personalities. Okay. So Nick, if you could note this down, I believe it was Nick and Kelly who did or maybe it was just Kelly, but I feel like Nick was there too, did a bomb training on the color personalities. Like, this would be something I would write down in your like things to do. I would go and check this out, or I would go, and it was Kelly, yeah. I would go and check this out. Like, go and look at a color personality training, because it's going to just help your business a ton, but we're going to talk about writing copy. So, and this is something that in the training was very interesting to me. So raise your hand if you feel like a lot of the people who are attracted to you are people who are just like you. Very, very similar to you. Anybody? Okay, a couple people. Okay, so this is a way of writing caption, writing copy. You're gonna hear kind of both of those things. So writing caption that can literally like go to all of the different personality types. It's a way to write. So you have your reds, right? Write this down. Your red people are all about, you know, competition and success and money. They're very go, 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 right? Like you can write go, 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 and I put some kind of dollar signs next to our reds. You have your yellows. Those are your like sensitive Sallys. They're like emotional. People like me are going to cry at a commercial, right? People like that. Oh, you guys are frozen, so I'm hoping I'm not frozen. Am I frozen or am I good? Cool. Thanks, Emily. I see Emily's double thumbs up. I appreciate you. Okay, cool. And then you have your blue. Your blues are like super fun. Oh my gosh, let's party. Okay, squirrel, right? You have your blues. And then you have your greens, who are very analytical, very into the details, that kind of thing. So now look, when you're sitting down to writing caption, now look, this is one way. Recognize, I'm going to give you another way here in a second. This is one way. When you're sitting down to tell a story, there is a way that you can write to each of these people. So you're sharing something. I'm going to show you some examples of this tomorrow. But when you're writing, and I've tried this, and I do like it's kind of fun if you think about it. So like, to give you an example, say you're telling a story of, you know, again, I'm going to show you this tomorrow, so I'm going to bring it all home tomorrow, you know, telling a story of winning an award at Epic, right? So put yourself there where you're telling the story. To cater to all of those types of people, to engage with those types of people in your story, maybe you talk a little bit about dollar signs. Maybe you talk a little bit about how emotional you felt about, you know, what happened. Maybe you talk a little bit about dancing at Epic and how fun it was. Is this making sense? Shake your head yes if this is making sense. Shake your head no if you're absolutely completely okay, cool, perfect. And then, you know, maybe you're also going to throw a little something in there about the time that it took for these things to happen and kind of some numbers. So you see how this is a way to write caption where you can literally engage all the personality types. You're still, and this is a distinction that we talked about after Playbook, you're still looking for people who are looking for you. You're not looking to attract everybody, right? It would be an absolute crazy, crazy train if you attracted everybody personally to you, because you probably couldn't relate to them. But this is a way there are people who are just like me whose personalities are different from mine. So when I'm using this way of writing, when I just put a little paragraph to my reds, little paragraph to my yellows, little paragraph to my greens, and a little paragraph to my blues, all of a sudden, all of the people who are just like me, but maybe have a little bit of different personality, they relate to me. So that's the first one. The second one, and this is what I do. Okay, this is my method of writing. I have done it forever, and it actually sparked from personal development. So we all read personal development. Raise your hands. Double hands if you're reading personal development. Cool. I actually just picked up this. I'm pretty excited. The Mastery of Self. I've read the 4 Agreements. I haven't read this one, so I'm really excited to read this one. Just picked that up today. So we all read personal development. So as I got started in this industry, guys, I don't have a background in journalism or writing or anything like that, right? Some of us, like maybe some of us on this call do, but a lot of us who are going to social media to tell a story don't have any training. That's great, because the training that you get every day is what you're reading from your personal development. So what I do when I write stories, right, on social media is I take and I go to a past place. So I start with the past. This is number 1. I start with the past. I start with the time in the past, and then I go to the present. I talk about the present, and then I talk about what I learned. So when I'm telling a story, I take a situation, I take an experience, and I take like almost always something in my personal development sparks it. Is this making sense? Shake your head, yes, this is making sense. Okay, I know this stuff's kind of nitty gritty, guys. Bear with me. I see a lot of down faces, but I think that's probably writing. So the past. So I always start, if you read anything that you ever see me write, I always start like, I usually almost always start with like, 5 years ago this, or 3 years ago that, or something like that. So you're taking people back by telling a story, you're bringing them to the present, to what your life is like, and then you're sharing with them what you learned from it. Now listen, what happens there is in your storytelling, you're attracting people who are like, oh my gosh, me too. I've been through that. I've experienced something like that. And then you're giving them value in the lesson. Does that make sense? So that's the second way of writing caption, of writing stories. And I want you guys to think about something today. So you're learning today, right? Over the next 3 days, you're going to be learning a lot of things. A lot of information is going to be coming at you. Like all you're doing, what you're doing is you're making a connection between what you know now, what you already know, like what you're already doing. A lot of you, I'm looking at a lot of faces on here who are already great storytellers, and the unknown. And that's where the learning is going to take place over the next 3 days, is knowing right now, is what you know right now, and some things you're going to pick up over the next 3 days, and you're going to take them, and then the learning is going to happen. I think it's Tony Robbins that actually said that. So that's the first thing. Now, the second part of that, this is Facebook and Instagram. The second part of that is photos, right? Raise your hand if you're scrolling through anywhere and like you see a great photo and you just stop on it and then you read the caption. Because, you guys are freezing on me again, right? Because the photo is great. So the photo is going to be so incredibly, incredibly important. Now here's a couple of tips for taking great photos. You guys know the selfie timer hack? This is advanced social media. Drop a 1 if you know the selfie timer. I'm actually I'm just gonna do it right here on this call for you guys. It's so incredibly simple. So you're going to, I should have set up a table behind me. You're gonna take your phone. If you have your phone right now, just do it. Take your phone, set it up on your desk, go to your thing here, go to your camera. In the top, you got a little selfie timer. Prop that thing up, prop it on a shaker bottle, right? That's like best hack ever. Everyone always has a shaker bottle with them. Prop it on a shaker bottle. Here's a really good pro tip. Put your back leg, I was gonna be diagramming things today. Stick your back leg back, ladies. Pop your booty up, okay? And then you just pose, cute, smile, do it in front of a light, okay? If you don't have a ring light, if you don't have anything fancy, it's no big deal, okay? Now listen to this. Raise your hand if you have a busy life. Yes, a window is absolutely great. If I open this window right now, that'd be good. If you have a busy life, okay? So what you wanna do here is you wanna create, and this is a strategy pro tip, okay? You wanna create a bank. You wanna go and go do your hair 4 different ways. Like, guys, take a hat off, put a hat on. Do whatever you have to. Change your clothes a couple of times. Go to 6 different places in your house. Before I had a house that I would take photographs in, I would go to I would go to nice places, and I would go take pictures there. I would go to wherever it took. I would go to a park. I would go wherever, obviously not right now in Michigan, it's a little chilly, but I would go and I would take photos so that when those stories popped up, when those things came into my head, when those lessons occurred, I was like, oh, super cool. Now I have an awesome picture that I can put up with it. I have a bright photo. I have all these selfie timered photos, right? Those are going to be that's your gold, right? Those are your gold to your stories. You're basically writing a book using your social media. And the biggest thing with all of these things is have fun. Have fun. Sometimes I forget that part. We talk about strategy, and we're going to talk about monetizing. We're going to talk about back end, and we're going to talk about DMs and stuff like that, and engaging and responding and building relationships. But if we're not having fun, what are we even doing, right? So have fun with it. Get creative, be yourself. Definitely don't go out and try to, go order a thick thighs, save lives t-shirt and try to, pose like Katie Rollins. It's all good. Just be you, whatever that looks like for you, and to take great photos and tell great stories with it. Now, let's go on to the second part of this. So the second part of this is going to be, and this is huge. You might not think this is huge, but this may be the biggest tip of advanced social strategy that I give you today. And it may be the one that the person who takes this and applies it the most, the person who goes hard on this tip here, literally will win the biggest. And this is engage and respond. Okay, engage and respond. So you wrote your story, you figured out okay, I'm going to write content this way. I'm going to write a story this way. I got a beautiful photo. I look awesome in this. It's my face, right? listen, a lot of what you're going to post on your social media, when we're talking about strategy, your face. People really want to see it. So if you haven't fallen in love with it yet, go ahead and do that. Okay? You're beautiful and people want to see you. And they want to see the real you too. So it's okay to sometimes look like the real you. People are really going to relate to that. Okay? So that's the next thing is engage and respond. So we're going to talk about Facebook first. On your Facebook posts, on your Facebook lives, all of those things, there's a 2-step process here. The first step to the process is go and respond to the comments that people have left on your stuff. Go and respond to the comments. It would kind of be like in person if I went up and said something nice to somebody and they were just like, you'd be like, what? Like, why are they not talking to me? Like, I took the time. Like, so go and match their level of energy. I love this. Match their level of, if they dropped a heart, drop a heart, right? If they said something like really kind and heartfelt and like spoke to you, then speak to them back and then take it a step 2. This is a step 2. This puts us above the rest. Go to their page, go on something that they've posted and go and comment back. Right? It's that give and take things. Did anyone hear Jarek Robbins speak at the end of one of our events? I don't remember which one it was, but he talked about giving and taking, and we want to be givers. So when it comes to social media, if you keep that in your head, we're giving value through telling stories, and we're giving value through responding and engaging. We want to create relationships. It's very easy to create transactions, and they're just that. But if we're engaging and responding, so we're responding to comments, and then we're literally creating a relationship. We're going and we're commenting on their stuff. Now, all of a sudden you go from Katie who posts I'm looking at Katie Estrada here. You go from Katie Estrada who's, beautiful and posting great photos and telling great stories, which she really does, by the way. I love reading her stories and seeing her photos. Like, you go from that girl to the girl who is friendly and who is open and who is taking the time to comment back. This over time will build you a massive social media presence. I promise you. So that's engage and respond and photos, content. We are ripping right through this. I love this. Okay. So let's talk about, I think Katie talked a little bit about growing your network using Facebook groups. Am I right? Shake your head. Yes, I'm right. Okay. Did she talk about Instagram hashtags? A lot of our social, so a lot of the social trainings kind of, because we went to you could only go to a couple at Epic. Raise your hand if you were at Epic. So you missed one. So a lot of the social training overlaps. So I'm not going to go back through that. Let's talk about Messenger, because we're going to be rolling short on time here. So I want to get these things in because they're super, super, super important. When it comes to Messenger, there are a couple of things, and I'll go back to Instagram stories if I have time here. When it comes to Facebook Messenger, all right, and Instagram Messenger, the DMs, this is where the magic happens. This is 110% where the magic happens. This is something, you guys, raise your hand if you've heard of the green light challenge. Okay, some of you have not. Okay, so go to your Facebook Messenger. Everyone open your Facebook Messenger, all right? And you should see a little spot there that says active. It says messages, and then right next to it, it says active, okay? That's every single person that you've ever connected with, right? This is not just people who are your friends. This is every single person who has ever engaged with anything that you've put on social media or that you've engaged with theirs, who has their phone in their hand and is currently using Facebook. This is gold. So before you go and put a post up, before you go and do a Facebook Live, before you go and do your things, get more eyes on your stuff. The more people who see it, the more people who engage with it. So right now, let's say, I don't know how many people you have on there, but literally go and you can go click on them. You can go click on them and you can send them a message. That's fine. I personally prefer just go and engage with something on their page. Just go. Yeah. Okay. So Katie said 742 people are active. That's a pretty solid DMO, would you say? If Katie was like, okay, I'm going to post at 2:00, I'm going to go engage. Now imagine 742 more people are going to have eyes on her post. That's 742 more potential people for the ketone conversation, for what we're doing. 742 more people who just might see what she posted and be attracted to the better that she's sharing. So go, again, if you want to start a conversation, that's cool, totally fine. Just talk like normal people. I personally, again, I like to go to their page and just go and comment and engage on something that they've posted genuinely, right? Genuinely give some value there, because then when your post goes up, guess what's going to happen? They're going to see it. You have to actually click. It'll take you from that screen. It will take you to their name, like in a conversation. So if you're going to go to their page, you have to click on their name, and it's a couple step process to get to their profile, but then you can go and see like what they're doing. I'll give you an example of not just starting a conversation with somebody. There was a girl who I was doing this one day in my DMOs, and I just went to her page first, and I'm so glad I did. Her husband had just been admitted to the hospital for like sepsis. He was like dying, blah, blah, blah. Now imagine if I hadn't gone and like looked what was going on in her life, and I was just like, hey girl, what's up? How are you? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like it's important that we go and like, these are real relationships that we're building. I don't care what gurus tell you. I don't care what people tell you. Like, it's real relationships. It takes time. It takes care. It takes giving an SHIT about each person. Does that take time? Absolutely. I used to work 18-hour days, and literally like I would get like 3 messages back, or I would get like no engagement, no response. Like, it takes time. And anyone who tells you that it doesn't is lying to you. There's no shortcut. There's no hack. There's strategy. The strategy though is the work is in between the strategy and the success. The work and the time is in between the strategy and the success, right? So that's the green light challenge. That's one of the messenger DMOs. Now here's another one. And this is, I share about this a lot. So maybe you've heard this, but maybe you haven't. And maybe there's someone brand new on here who has not. When you go to messenger.com, right? You can type in messenger.com. And sometimes this little beast works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes Facebook likes to make our lives difficult. But if you go and type in messenger.com, you can click on, there's an unreads button, okay? You can go and you can see sometimes if Facebook's in a good mood. Anybody else know what I'm talking about? When that unreads button decides to like just capitalize and just not work. But usually it works, okay? So it'll bring up your unread messages. Obviously, you want to not only respond to your unread messages, you guys, but you want to go back to all your messages. Now, here's another hack as we're going through this. Let's say you're in the middle of having conversations with people, responding to people. There is an archive button. If you right click, there is an archive button. Every single time I go in, like I want to get all of my messages done before, and I'll raise your hand if you've ever had this happen, where you're like trying to get through messages, but as you're responding, other people are coming up. They're like, oh, hey. And then all of a sudden you're like me and you're like, squirrel, shoot, now I only had 6 conversations today when I meant to have 56 and my business isn't growing. Archive them. Go and do what you got to do. Follow up, say hello, check in, whatever it is that you're doing in your messenger that day. Archive it and wait till you are done to go back and have those conversations. That has been an absolute dream come true for me, is to be able to archive those conversations. And then you keep clicking that unread and it's going to keep bringing up old messages for you, or, messages that are unread for you. Then from there, depending on whatever's going on in business that day, like the reboot right now, right? Like the people who bought the reboot in March. So you're like, oh, maybe you're not great with lists or whatever it may be. You want to follow up at 10-day customers. Like we have a 5 and 10-day blitz going on right now. Maybe you want to follow up at 5 and 10-day customers. Go in that little search bar in your messenger.com. You can literally search for whatever keyword you want, and it will bring up every conversation that holds that word inside of it. So let's say you want to look for the campfire video. You can put, experience keto in there. Every single message that you've ever sent that link is going to populate. Okay, that is follow-up gold. Set a DMO for that. How many are you going to do that today? I'm not even close to through this, by the way, and it's 12:45. So we may be shifting a little bit from what I had originally said, but we're super adaptable, so we'll do that. Nick, do I have a few more minutes? Nick's my timekeeper.
Yeah, just run with it. We're good.
Okay, cool. All right. So where was I? Okay. Messenger. That's right. So that is like one of the huge hacks on there. So we're going to go, that's the green light challenge, right? So engaging with people who are active, searching for keywords. Like how many times have you sat down at your computer and you're just like, okay, I'm going to work my business. gonna work my business. And you're like, what? These are great things to get into action and activity that are actually going to generate things happening for you. Now let's shift just like a little shift here and talk about the Instagram Messenger, the Instagram DMs, okay? Now this stuff is what's so important, and I think that's really, it's awesome, right? So you can think of this as, there's people who are, you got your glass half empty and you got your glass half full, right? So on one hand, you can say, oh my gosh, everything's changing so fast all the time. Social media is always changing, DMs are always, this is changing. I can't keep up. Or that's our glass half empty people. Or you can mindset shift and say, holy crap, how awesome is it that they are constantly creating new ways for me to reach more people and to engage with more of the people that are gonna want to engage with me. How cool is it that all these strategies keep popping up for me to learn? So let's throw out the overwhelm with all this stuff and just say, wow, this is awesome, right? So raise your hand if you have Instagram and you're cool. So this is definitely more of an advanced, right? And it's cool if you don't. Like if you're on this call and you're like, I'm new, I'm just getting, my Facebook sea legs or whatever, like don't worry about it. You don't need to go and make an Instagram after this. Like you don't need to go and get all crazy on Instagram. The biggest thing with Instagram, I'm going to give you a couple of tips and I'm going to go back tomorrow and kind of bring this all home here. But Instagram, when it comes to the Instagram DMs, you have a couple of things that I specifically use that are super, super helpful, okay? Number one, go to your Instagram inbox real quick for me. And if you click on this little, so where the search bar is, okay, if you click on those little line things, and keep in mind if you don't have some of the stuff that I'm showing here, that's okay, just update your app usually, or if you have an Android, just get an iPhone, it's fine. Go to inbox or go to those little lines there, and you can click on unread, and it's gonna give you all of your messages from the past 30 days. Now keep in mind, your unreads, it's going to give you those messages. Now, here's another thing that I love to do. Let's say I'm talking to, let's see, Bailey. Here's my friend Bailey. I'm talking to Bailey. And Bailey asked me for, she's like, we're talking about the campfire video. We're talking about ketones. We're talking about whatever. Just click on any conversation. Up there at the top, there's a little flag, okay? I love this. It's my favorite. And I'm going to take you, I want to keep taking you guys through these steps. I'm going to go through this one because it makes sense. I'm going to go all the way through it. So let's say I flag Bailey. Okay. Got her flagged here. Now I go back to my inbox. Shake your head yes if you're following me. Nope. I see a lot. I see a couple of these and a couple of these. Okay. Are you not following me because you don't see it? Because you don't see the flags and stuff? Okay. So just update if you don't, and then you'll see this. So then when you flag it, now you can go to that, it'll say flagged, and it's going to bring up every message that you ever flagged. This is huge, guys. If we're not keeping track of the people that we're talking to, if we're not keeping track of our conversations, if we're not keeping track of our 10 days, the magic is in that follow-up, right? The respond and engage, you can call it a follow-up, you can call it whatever it is. Now let's take it a step further, okay? So you have your person you flagged, you have your conversation. So now I go to Bailey's page. And I'm definitely going to engage on one of her photos, right? For sure. This is a part of my strategy, a part of my social media advanced DMO. I'm going to go to Bailey's page. This is an adorable picture of her daughter. So I'm going to not only like it, I'm going to comment, oh my gosh, she's so cute, right? I'm going to comment. And then in the little corner of this photo here, I wish you guys could see this better, but I'll give you examples tomorrow. There's this little upside down flag looking thingy, okay? Click on that. It's going to bring up this little tab and it says save to collection, okay? When I click on save to collection, these are my collections: future rebooters, future customers, keto connections, 10-day trials, future legends, current promoters. I have folders on Instagram of people that I connect with every single day. I go into these folders and I literally go and I comment on these people's stuff every single day. I'm always showing up on their stuff every single day. So I add her to my collection. So I'm going to add, let's see, how to do this. I'm going to add her to future customers because I know that she's going to become a customer. So I want to keep track of her. And again, this is so super important on the Instagram DMs, because in your DMs on Instagram right now, this might change. It could change tomorrow, but right now it's only going back 30 days. okay, in conversations. It's only letting me swipe back to 30 days past on the flagged, okay? So it will only bring me with that flagged option. So I want to make sure every time I talk to somebody, every time someone on Instagram gets a trial, and listen, Instagram's hot right now. Like it is. A lot of people are doing a lot of activity on Instagram. So if we're not keeping track of people, and it's challenging because it's like Sassafras 47, and you're like, who's Sassafras 47? Well, you go into your little collections and you're like, oh, she's a customer. Oh, she's a future customer. Oh, she's someone who expressed interest in promoting. So that collection bit on there is absolutely masterful, and it is 12:51. So I do want to be super cognizant of time, and I have I want you guys to recognize something though. All of these strategies, right? Like if you just look at, they're all these like little like, they're just these little tiny things that create this massive shift. So it's not, I was listening to a podcast the other day and they were talking about, I think it was the MF CEO and Ed Mylett were talking about like, people always want to know if they get like one chance to ask them the question, they want to know like, bro, what's the secret? Like, what's the secret sauce? And it's like, there's no secret sauce. Like it's time, it's sacrifice, it's applying these things over these little tedious things, right? These little tedious social media things that really create a presence over time. And who you are, make no mistake, who you are will show up in all of these strategies. It will show up. Like people will start to know your heart and your intention and everything around who you are between your stories and the captions that you're writing and the way that you're engaging and the way that you're following up. So I will 100% bring more tomorrow for you guys. We may do like a tiny shift just because I still have so many more strategies that I want to give. So we may do a tiny shift and still do strategy tomorrow for the first part of the call, and then just do some examples. And then on Wednesday we'll wrap everything up with a bow on it and get some people talking about these strategies and ways they use them. Does that sound good to everybody? Double thumbs up if that works. Cool. I feel like I threw a lot out today, so I just want to make sure that everyone's feeling pretty good. And Nick, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool.
That was awesome. I wish we had another half an hour. Like I was in your advanced playbook class and like I have a whole list of notes here. And I love how you teased out the next 2 days. Cause like if you're on this, like you should be here for the next 2 days. You should be here every day. But like I love that you dropped some teasers for Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Brian James is gonna bring home Thursday and Friday for the ultimate prover experience. And I love it. I love these Zooms.
Hey, Nick, super
Yeah.
fast. Can I give a CTA real quick?
Yeah.
So call to action, go and do the green light challenge. Go and pick your number, whether it's 10 people or 20 people or 30 people or whatever it is. Go engage with those people who have their phones in their hands right now and start to create those connections. And then write a story, take a picture today after you've done that. So green light challenge, and then write a story, take a picture today and post it afterwards. So Kathy, to answer your question, yes, eventually playbooks will be all over and all the time. It will be amazing. So, all right, Nick, that was it. I just wanted to make sure we gave a call to action for the day.
Awesome. Yes, perfect. Because I almost missed that too. But guys, like this is straight fire. Keep hammering down the reboot. Like, don't just talk about the reboot during the reboot. Like, you should be dropping and sprinkling that in. That's huge. Reboot is straight up fire. And the beauty of this business, I'm literally sitting in the backseat of my Cadillac Escalade in a gas station parking lot, running my business with a tripod and my phone propped up on the center console. Like Kendra's at her house. Like this is the beauty of what we do. You can do it anywhere. You don't have to be in an office or a cubicle. Like I'm literally just hanging out in the back of my car. People are driving by looking at me like I'm crazy. But guys, go rock the day. Take these notes and apply them. This knowledge is useless if you do not apply it. I can sit here and scream for an hour. Like I'm so on fire. Love you guys. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same code. That is a wrap.